In these next few videos, we're going to take a look at different approaches on editing drums. And here we have a live drum recording, really simple, 3 microphones, kick, snare, and drum room mono. Let me go ahead and play this back. Check it out. Now I'm going to play this back with a click track and notice what happens. You're going to notice that the drummer is not exactly on the grid. He's playing nice with a dynamic feel and groove, but we want it to be on the grid. So let me show you a couple of ways how to do that. All right, the first thing that we want to do is that we want to group these drums together. So we're going to select the 3 tracks, right click, and choose Pack Folder. This is going to make our life easier. Just go ahead and just label this drums. You can expand that, and by clicking on this button, it's going to group them all. You can also notice that it's grouped by name. These are all grouped to drums. It basically means that I can make a selection and it's going to select all of them. I can move them around and it's going to select all of them. Okay? So by them being grouped, it's going to affect them all when we're editing. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that we want to be cautious that when we start editing drums, and we go, 32 steps into the editing process, we might not be able to go back to step number 1 without hitting undo a bunch of times. So what you want to do is you want to create a duplicate layer of these drums before you start editing them. And for that, we're going to open up the inspector. You can notice here, it's called layers. We're going to rename the layer, layer 1. Call it OG, which is the original. And then we're going to duplicate this layer, layer 2. And we're going to call this bend. Cool. And by default, Studio One will show you that there are multiple layers. So because we're on the bend layers, we're going to right click on the track and deselect expand layers. So here we are. Nothing's changed on the audio. Everything's still intact, but we just pretty much created a duplicate so we can have a backup. All right, so let's take a look at how we can actually quantize this or audio bend it or slice it and then quantize it. And there's a number of ways. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this function right here, which is called audio bend. And let's shrink this up so we can actually see it. There we go. These are our drums. So with audio bend, this is going to detect the transient on the drums. All right, kick, snare, and room. You have 2 modes. You have standard and sensitive. 9 times out of 10, standard works fine. And you can view the bend markers. Right now, it's empty because it hasn't analyzed anything. And then we're going to choose the time stretching algorithm, which more than likely is going to be drums. And then we can quantize it. So that's kind of like the layout from left to right. All right, so again, we've grouped these drums so that they're all being edited at the same time. And let's choose Analyze on Standard. So automatically it activated the bend marker so we can show or hide that. We're going to adjust the threshold. That's basically the sensitivity for the detection. We're going to just scroll through here. Now you don't have to have every little thing, every little hit selected, but for the most part, it seems like it's selecting most of them. Maybe right here, I could use some help. Okay, good. We'll live for that for now. Okay, I want the kick and the snare to be the guide, but not the drum room. So then it's going to ensure that the kick and the snare are quantized and the drum room is going to follow that. And most of the time, you're going to do that. And mind you that when you're editing multi-track drums, you might have like 16 different channels, right? Tom 1, Tom 2, floor tom, inside kick, outside kick, top snare, bottom snare, hi-hat, right, left, right, all that stuff. So you're going to see a huge list of options here. So for now, we're going to keep it really basic and just choose kick and snare as our guides. Time stretch, we're going to choose drums. Group, that corresponds to this group name right here. And then quantize. Typically for live drums, I never do like 100%, but in this case, we are. Again, it's just demo purposes. We're going to hit apply and let's see how it responds. All right, cool. So we'll play that from the top and we'll play that with our click track. Here we go.